Yeah, AJ Brown.
All right, week 11, Dirty 30 Pod. What's up, boys? How we doing?
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Doing great.
We're great.
Uh, some activity this week, right? We got some waivers we get to talk about, some big money being spent. We got four trades. I think we've had like three in-season trades so far this year, so to have four this week is exciting. Then we went a little head-to-head DFS lineup. Get to talk about some other players that aren't our own and kind of see where we went here. So, um, waivers. Let's start off strong. Debbie, we got two big money items. We got Gus Edwards, $31 for myself. Audric Estime, $26 for to Tanner. Zero to 10 farts, buddy. Where we at here?
So I
Be
get the
be be gentle to me.
I get the pickups. I
Yeah,
do.
of
If
course,
you
of
have
course.
the room on your bench, um, the part that kills me, as always, is the amount of money spent on these farts. And I don't I don't know. Um, God, they're both just not great.
No.
Uh, let's just, you want me to be gentle, and I haven't been. We'll do 8 farts for both of them. I don't like either. I don't mind the pickup, but
I get it,
that's a
man.
lot. That's a lot of money. Get your guy though, I guess. But
I
and who
get
knows?
it.
They could work out.
Yeah.
The Odrick one is so interesting to me because it could pan out. Let's see. We'll see how he gets
Mhm.
used this week, I guess. But
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of took things over last week, but
Yeah.
that just sounds like a messy committee to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good. I mean, we are there isn't a lot of players that actually like hit the waiver wire. That's like worth being spent money on, right? Like we're just like we're a good league that like has players that like yeah. So you dropped a little money on Gus Edwards, dropped a little money on Audric Estime. 8 farts, I think, is fair for both of them. I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, at least to help you feel better with Gus, he's a goal line back. All he needs is a J.K. Dobbins injury, which isn't that crazy.
We got a DFS lineup coming up later today. You know he's in my lineup, boys. You know it.
Gross.
Gus Edwards, Gus Edwards Tutty this week.
Oh God.
Was he the Stone Min?
I don't know. I don't know.
The min price guy?
Enough Gus talk. Let's get into these trades. There's some good ones here.
Never enough Gus talk.
We had one that happened kind of Sunday night before the Sunday night games even took place. Involved our boy Devi. Devi getting Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Tank Dell, and Brian Thomas Jr. The old 4-for-2 trade for Bijan
Love it.
Robinson and ARS and Amon Ra. Christian, what'd you think of this one?
Be
You know,
honest.
I I was fine with the trade overall.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull up the trade to break it down, just like kind of step by step here.
yeah.
And honestly, like, okay, so we're on the Bijan Amon Ra one.
Mm-hmm,
To be honest, like I think anytime you're acquiring Bijan and Amon Ra, you win the trade.
Mhm.
You're getting a top five receiver and maybe the hottest running back in fantasy.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah. Bijan's
really.
on fire. Yeah, he's on fire.
But I think that on the flip side, like Jonathan Taylor is obviously very, very, very good.
Hmm.
I think season long, I think he's probably going to be the best player. Like for the remainder of the season, I think Jonathan Taylor will have the most fantasy points out of anybody in the trade.
Hmm.
But
All right.
I just,
That'd be
and then
cool.
also you're getting a Brian Thomas and like a surefire keeper.
Yeah.
You know, can Amon Ra be kept again or no?
Nope. No, he's got to go back.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Tank Dell, we talked about it in the keeper segment a couple weeks ago. I
Yeah.
don't think Tank Dell is going to be kept again, even at like the 15th round or whatever the fuck he was.
Yep.
I honestly like I really don't mind the trade for both sides. I'd probably give the edge to Marcus a little just because he's getting two top five players at their position.
Oh.
But at the same time, Devin's getting probably a top 5 keeper, and I think Jonathan Taylor's going to be one of the best running backs in the league the last 6, 7, whatever it is.
Yeah, and he could be kept in the 4th round, right? Like, yeah,
which he will be. Like,
which he probably will.
Which I never hate that. That's my boy.
Yeah, Debbie and I had a heated text exchange after this trade a little bit, right?
I just one more quick. I think
go ahead, man.
I think Marcus would have done it for a little less.
I don't know, right? I initially was like, hey man, those are big names, right? Like you're tanking, right? And then I looked at it and I'm like, I don't know. Marcus is now starting Austin Eckler every week, right? Like DJ Moore every week, and like Debbie's team got better, right? Like I don't know, man. I looked at it a little bit and I'm like, it's an even trade. It's a good trade. It's an even trade. Debbie probably playing for next year, right? It sounds like.
I'm not expecting to make playoffs.
Not expecting to make playoffs.
I think my team is somewhat decent enough to where I probably got to win out, obviously, still, but. I think it's decent enough to keep me afloat, and if I fail, then I got some options for next year, whereas I didn't before. So
yeah,
in our heated text exchange, I got to keep you accountable for next year's draft, though. Devin told me next year he's drafting sober.
That's right.
Not a sip of alcohol. He's
okay.
Going to be clean and it's going to be the best draft ever.
I gotta laugh at that, man.
Are you currently sober?
No.
Okay, so this isn't like a life-changing, altering event. Like,
no. We had a very heated text exchange that just like went to like, holy shit, our team sucked this year. Like I'm going into it sober next year. Like it was just kind of like a brutal moment, man. It was pretty funny though. Pretty funny.
It was good.
It was good.
I wish you the best.
I had a good laugh. Next one, Rhodey and Tanner in this one. We got a little Drake London and Pacheco. Drake London, Pacheco, and Tucker Kraft for JSN and Gibbs. I don't really feel strongly about this one. I think it was another good trade, right? Like Tanner has Hunt, so Pacheco made sense. London, I mean, Gibbs is probably the best player, right? But
by a mile.
Yeah, you feel strongly about this one?
Probably could have got more for Gibbs.
I would have given away Mixon to get Gibbs. I would have given away Kamara, Mixon, I honest to God probably would have thought about Achane if he tossed in somebody else. Like,
sure.
Gibbs is one of the very few players this year that, and you can ask him, like, I have reached out. I'm talking probably every other week. I've reached out for Gibbs. Like, I think Gibbs, and you can mark my word, me saying this. If Gibbs was not in a committee, Gibbs would have CMC-like numbers from last year. Gibbs would be the best player in fantasy football if he was by himself.
I agree with that. Right? If no Montgomery, right?
Right. And even with Montgomery, he's still a fucking beast. Like,
he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah. He's very fun.
Very good at football.
Yeah. I guess I would probably lean Kyle won it a little bit, but I agree. It's not like outlandish. I don't think it's like a landslide, but I think getting Gibbs was the deciding factor on that one.
Yeah, I would lean Gibbs as well in that trade, right? I'm just not strongly about it either way. Kind of like the first one. I am strong about this next one, and I apologize. I said 4 trades off the back. We got 5 trades.
Yeah.
Christian's trade. I feel a little strongly about this one, buddy. We had for Derek, it was Jaden Reed, Njoku, Rico Dowdle for Laporta and Ricky Pearsall. Jaden Reed, man, giving up that keeper. What's going on? Talk us through this one. I need a
Yeah,
little
it
therapy.
obviously
I need a little therapy session on this one.
it honestly, and I knew I was gonna catch a little heat with this one. And like, don't get me wrong, like not like getting rid of Reed was not like an easy choice, but I have said, and I said it a few weeks ago, I think one guy that bounces back big time is Laporta.
Yeah, you
And
love Laporta. Yeah.
I love Laporta. I think that the way I looked at it is I was kind of like once Evans comes back, like he's gonna be my receiver. Like at the time, he was like, that's my receiver one. And like Reed's always gonna be in my lineup, but I feel like when he's in my lineup, he's really good, obviously, and he's a great keeper at that price. But at the same time, I'm like, I just don't know how I trust that team going into like colder weather, playing outdoors a lot, like whatever. Whereas like Laporta, I feel like he's on the rise. I feel like this year Laporta is rising at this point, whereas like Reed might have peaked. So I that's my only kind of thought behind it. Pearsall was kind of a throw-in, and Joku didn't matter.
Of course.
Dowdle,
it's Reed for
Dowdle,
Laporta. It's
whatever,
Reed for Laporta, right? That trade is Reed for Laporta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, if I absolutely, and I probably won't, but if I absolutely had to keep an extra player outside of Achan, Laporta's not a terrible option. Being in the
He's late
whatever 13th, 14th, 15th, or whatever he's at, So I don't. I like Laporta. I like Laporta to be a safe bet for me in my flex, like with McBride. So it's like I'm gonna go the 2 tight end route, and I think that they're 2 of the top 3 tight ends in football. So.
Debbie, you feel as strongly as me about this one? You're kind of somewhere in the middle. How are you feeling about this one?
No, I kind of get it. Like you said, it's pretty much Reed for Laporta. And
right.
I think Devin's team.
I kind of agree with Christian though. Like, you just don't know with that team. And then, like you said, playing in colder weather and all this other crap.
You don't.
I think Devin's team got better than mine. Or I'm sorry, Derek's team got better than mine.
Sure.
I will say.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Agreed. He got a keeper, right? He's also probably playing for next year unless he kind of wins out, right? I would rather have Reed the rest of the year, but go get your guy, right? Like that's what this trade is for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Next one, Debbie back on the clock. Derek back on the clock. Aaron Jones, Terry McLaurin for Kyler Murray and Ken Walker. I saw it go through. I'm like, I get it, man. Like I think
pretty sideways trade.
You think pretty sideways? Tell me about it.
Well, just like sorry, not sideways, but like parallel.
Like level, even?
Yeah, right. Pretty even. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Ken Walker's probably the best player in there, right? But like the next 2 are awesome. And yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like super strongly, but Derek wasn't going to play Kyler, right? So his team probably got better again, Derek. I don't feel super strongly about it either way. I think Debbie needed like a quarterback, right? So Kyler makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah. And I think getting Walker now, I mean, because with Devin now, though, like you look at his team, he's got Walker and JT and pretty good. Pretty good.
No,
it's all part of the master plan.
Yeah, Debbie wins out. He's got a decent team, that's for sure. Last one, I was sleeping when this one went through. Alvin Kamara, Cedric Tillman, Debo for Justin Jefferson, Najee, and Raheem Mostert.
Wild style.
It was. I woke up to it, right? I feeding the baby in the middle of the night. I looked at it. I was like, "Holays!" I liked it. I liked it. Just like
I can't believe he got rid of JJ.
Just big names being swapped, right? Like that's what this league is all about, I love it, man. Christian, what were your thoughts with this trade?
So it was a big.
I just want to say really quick, I can't believe seeing Kamara on there was kind of, and obviously after talking now, I've heard that you opened the moving Kamara, and obviously in the other discussions or whatever, but yeah, I thought that was he would be a really tough one to pry from your fingers, but yeah.
Yeah,
Very
I
confident.
I obviously wouldn't have if I didn't have two other great running backs.
Mhm.
But my thought was like at this point, getting rid of Reed, like I had a lot of very average receivers. Like I at the time I had like Jaden Reed, like before this. When I got rid of Reed, I have Waddle, I have like Jameson, I have Tillman, I have Roma Dunze. Like until and like Debo's kind of injured whenever, and like that's kind of a crowded offense with CMC coming back. And it's like I wanted a star receiver that I can count on every week. So like we've been talking about this trade for a few weeks. And it kind of like it. I was originally like, let's do Kamara for JJ straight up, and then he didn't want to, and then like I traded Rico, and I'm like, I can't do that trade anymore because if I do that, I only have two running backs on my whole roster. So I'm like, if we do this trade, I need to recoup some running back like depth where that's where Najee, I'm not a big Najee fan, but like the guy has gone double digits the last 4
Oh,
weeks. Like
he's been on fire lately. Yeah.
he's like, if
Really come
anything,
around.
he's gonna fit in my flex and I'll roll with whatever he gets, whether it's fucking 6 points or whether it's 12 points. He's probably not gonna go a whole lot higher than that, like on a weekly basis. Tillman, I just picked him up a couple weeks ago. He's hot, but I'm not counting on that. Debo was tough to get rid of just because of his ceiling,
Yeah.
but like I wanted some running back depth, which I got the backup for, A-Chan. I think Mostert just got the slap on the wrist with no carries last week. He'll be fine.
Yep.
But I think like another thing for me was like I'm trying to like play for that bye week. And so like I'm trying to play for that bye week. I'm one spot out. Kamara has a bye in the next couple weeks. JJ's done with his.
Yep.
So like that's another thing I thought of. I'm like, I'm gonna be able to start JJ every week the rest of the year. And let's be real. I mean, Jamar Chase is having a fucking Randy Moss season. Like outside of Jamar Chase, like JJ's the fucking guy, like he's the number one receiver.
Yeah, I liked it. I woke up, I'm like, hey, JJ for Alvin Kamara, like that's all day long, right? Like it's fun, right? Like most leagues would just hold on to their guy, right? Like they'd be like, no, I'm good, that's not what this league's all about. This league's gonna shake it up a little bit, and I love that. I stopped talking about my shitty team though, and this league. Let's get into something different, right? We got a little DFS lineup here. You guys seeing that all right? I shared my screen.
Yep.
Cool. Let's go through it. If we got like the same players, just kind of raise your hand, right? Like we got a little bit of time, but let's kind of go through it somewhat quickly though. Quarterback. Christian, last I looked, you didn't have this guy in your lineup. I'm wondering if you're going to switch back to him, but I got Tua versus the Raiders.
He was certainly in my rotation, but I ultimately decided not to go Tua.
Yeah. Tua versus the Raiders was my guy. I decided to partner. I got a stack. I decided to go Tyreek Hill. I just think he's due.
Yep.
Right. I just kind of went with that stack
here right
off the bat.
Still cheap too.
Cheapish, right? Cheapish. Yeah, 7,400. Tua's $6,000. Right. I liked it. Debbie, you got a QB? You got a stack to go with that QB or?
Yep. I went Purdy.
Love it.
And then stacked them with Jennings.
Wow.
I also have Jennings.
Oh,
so
you
I
do?
will we'll be live. We'll be a little carryover there. So Juwan Jennings, I think he's just mispriced, right? 5,300.
Yeah, 11 targets last week.
5,300. He's been hot, man. I like him too. Christian, you got a QB? You got a stack to go with him, or maybe no stack?
Yeah, I do actually. So currently I have Jared Goff at quarterback.
Love it.
And I actually he's 6,300, so a couple hundred more than Tua. But I actually stacked him up twice.
Hell yeah.
So I got Amon-Ra in the receiver spot.
Yes, sir.
And this is obviously pending injury with Laporta probably being out. I put in Brock Wright at tight end.
All right. Dig it, man.
Nice
Cheap.
and nice and
Cheap. Oh yeah, real
Very,
cheap.
very cheap. Very cheap.
Saving some dough on that one. I like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
We talked a little before we hit record. Running backs are interesting this week, right? A lot of like big money you could spend on it. I went kind of middle of the road. I went David Montgomery. I just think like
love that pick.
I just think touchdown, right? Like there's no way he doesn't score a touchdown versus
The
Jacksonville.
Lions are scoring. The Lions are going to score 40 points this week.
And I went kind of I leaned into the bit a little bit this week, and I went Gus Edwards. I also think he's scoring. Cincy, I don't know. I hope he's scoring for my sake.
Beautiful.
Debbie, who do you got for running back?
I went, I needed a little slice. I'm not used to the Thursday through Monday games.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah.
Normally I'm just a Sunday guy.
Mm-hmm.
I needed a little bit of a slice tonight, so I went Barkley.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
And then H-Am for my second.
Dude, he was in my lineup for a long, long time. H-Am.
Yep, I have H-Chan. He's averaging like 20 points a fucking game since Tua got back.
He's awesome, man.
He's their wide receiver too.
Yeah, full PP.
He really is.
He really is.
I've never seen so many like quick screens thrown to a running back. Like H-Chan is a PPR machine right now, dude.
Yeah. Yep. So I have H-Chan, and then my other running back, I went big. I spent, I think he was probably the third or fourth running back as far as price goes. I went Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
I was debating that.
I just think like with Kyron, we talked about him earlier in the year, and like he's kind of hit a touchdown lull where he hasn't scored in 2 weeks. So I'm there's a week where he's probably going for 2 touchdowns this week,
He's
against the Pats.
Yeah.
He's due. I like it. The wide receiver I have Juwan Jennings. I also have Puka in my lineup. I just kind of think he's due a little bit. And my flex is Garrett Wilson. So I got some money being spent. Cheapos somewhere else there. Debbie, fill your lineup besides tight end and defense. Who do you got here?
Yeah, so I went. My second receiver is Tillman.
Nice. He was also a consideration.
I was really debating Winston, Tillman, and Njoku stack. Winston, he's back in New Orleans. They're all kind of cheap. Interesting.
Dig it.
You guys will like this one. I think he was like 4,100. I needed to get a little cheap. Big Mike Williams.
Okay.
I think that's like the highest over under game, or the highest game total on the slate, 48.5 or something with that Baltimore game. I think it's time for him to get back into it. And then my flex, I kept the strong RBs going.
Nice.
And I went Joe Mixon.
Nice. Dude, I was back and forth. I was like, okay, I'm gonna not take Mixon and just pray no one else takes him.
Okay. Mixon in the lineup? No Mixon, Christian?
No Mixon in my lineup. No, I went so my second receiver, I wanted a player in that Chiefs Bills game. So I went DeAndre Hopkins.
Love it.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta think that they're gonna, the Bills are gonna kind of focus in on like Kelsey. They're probably not gonna let Worthy beat him over the top, and I just kind of think Hopkins probably has like one of those like 8 for 80 games. Maybe he doesn't score, but I think he's gonna be kind of one of those like safer bets. And then my other receiver is actually playing tonight. It's not pretty, but I'm going revenge game, Jahan Dotson.
I love that.
I love it, man.
So bad. But
I mean, he's already got to catch, right? Like
he's got to catch.
He's on the board. He's on the board.
He will not get a 0, which is, well, I shouldn't say that. That's
a good point.
That's a good point. And then
finish it out here. Flex and defense. Give it all.
So my flex, I'm going the Monday night game, who I thought was incredibly mispriced. I know Nico's coming back, but I figured I'm gonna ride the hot hand with Mechie. I felt like he got a good rapport with Stroud last week, and
He was in
so
my
I got
lineup for a
Mechie.
while. Yep.
And then
I like that.
my defense, I'm going just, I mean, I don't know how they're not good by any means, but I don't know how you can put a team at home against Anthony Richardson and price them at 2,800. The Jets are my defense.
I like that.
Yeah. It's not even close.
I like
Like,
that too. Yep. Mechie was almost in my lineup. The Jets were
Mhm.
almost in my lineup. Debbie, finish out your lineup here. Who's tight end? Who's defense?
So I managed to find a tight end that is actually less than Christian's. I went Stoneman at the tight end with the hell's his name? Davis Allen.
Ooh,
oh,
the Rams guy?
yeah,
he
I
had
think
6
Okay.
targets last week.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my defense, I'm stacking up with Mixon on Monday night. I'm doing Texans defense
All right.
against the poopy Dallas team.
Yeah, I get that. Not a bad call. Tight end, I went cheap too. I'm going tonight. I went Zach Ertz. I don't know. Not feeling great about it. First quarter's over. He doesn't have a catch, so there's that. Defense.
So we all have people going to. Nice.
I got the Titans, man. I just think Sam Darnold.
I love the Titans
I just think
defense this
Sam
week.
Darnold's kind of turning into a pumpkin. And
Mhm.
yeah, and the Titans defense ain't bad, right? They're not too bad at all.
they're
So.
not bad. They're not.
And they're at home.
And they're at home, right?
And
Like,
they're the second cheapest.
I just think it's a low scoring game is kind of my
Yeah.
guess, right? Maybe they get a turnover here or there, but I like it. Pizza on the line. Winner gets pizza, loser has to pay. Middle is just kind of like down the road here. So we'll find out Monday night who gets their pizza. So
Fuck, I think I still got a pizza in the hopper.
dude, I owe you a pizza, right? So
I honestly didn't even think about it.
no, I know that if for some reason I win, we'll
worried about it.
We'll just kind of squash it, all right? But
We'll
send
figure
these
it
out. Yeah,
we'll buy us each a pizza and we'll just celebrate.
I love that. I love that idea as well, right? I'm good for that. I love pizza, so
yeah.
We'll send these out. Yeah, getting after it here. Playoffs getting down the line. Trade deadline down the line, right? Next week's going to be our top 5 keeper list, which I'm excited about. Debbie, I'm supposed to remind you that there is trash talk of the week.
I just pulled it up.
Did you know that? I'm very yes, not happy about this.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't gonna let you get away with it without doing it.
Good.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I received this yesterday morning. It was actually quite funny. I enjoyed it.
Good.
So okay. How the mighty have fallen from champ to soon to be first out of playoffs. ESPN was right after the draft, ranking Fantasy 301 as worst drafted team. Going to put a big smile to the league, crushing his playoff hopes this week.
Damn. Tyler.
Wow.
You dirty dog.
Damn.
I guess I didn't know he played you this week.
Oh yeah. Well, me versus Tyler this week. Yes. I will take that on the chin. It has not been a good year, boys. It has not been a good year. Very depressing year. But it is football. It's the pod, right? We're still gonna figure it out here, and hopefully I get some good keepers going into next year. Yeah. Good luck, boys. Week 11. We'll be back at it next week with top 5 keepers and some honorable mentions and stuff, kind of talking before the trade deadline. So always a good time. Good luck this week, boys.
Yep. Good luck.
See you, boys.